Do you want to live an authentic life, or are you lying your way through existence? This is the eighth rule by Jordan Peterson. And the eighth rule is to tell the truth, or at least don't lie. Jordan gives examples of what happens when you don't live true to your ideas. And he says that you become a slave. You become a slave when you reject your ideas and you don't speak your mind, when you're obedient to everyone else. Now, if you do this to avoid conflict, you get rid of meaning. So you lie to yourself and you act like someone else so you can avoid conflict. Because if you speak to your mind and you speak what you are truly thinking and the true you, it takes a lot more courage. It takes a lot of courage. So Jordan Peterson says, if you're not getting what you want and need out of life, you are hiding and you live in a lie. You can become a tool that will be exploited by others. Now, I thought that lying was only, lying to someone else, like through verbal communication. But acting like someone else and rejecting your own ideas is another form of lying. And is the most common. Most people lie to themselves, acting like someone else. Now, Jordan Peterson says that you should say no when it needs to be said. And he says, if you say no when it needs to be said, you become a person that can say no when it needs to be said. Sometimes we have to say no. Because if we're always saying yes to everything other people push onto us, what do we become? We become a slave, by definition. We have no will. We reject our own ideas. So you need to say no. You need to learn the skill how to say no. It will be so beneficial for you if you implement your ideas and you think by yourself and you're not acting like someone else. If you betray yourself and say untrue things, if you act out a lie, you weaken your character. By lying, you literally weaken your character. And if you're weak, when difficult things happen, life will destroy you. So, when we lie, what happens? How do we feel after lying? We feel shame, right? We feel shame that we're acting like someone else. And shame is the worst feeling that you can feel. Why? Because when you're shameful about yourself, you keep saying to yourself and repeating on your mind that you're bad and you're the worst. So if we're always constantly telling ourselves that we're the worst, we're gonna become it. We're gonna become that. We become our ideas. So if you say to yourself that you're bad and you feel shame about yourself, you're gonna be the worst. You're gonna become it. So Jordan Peterson also says that sooner or later, a fire will start. When you're not being true to yourself, something in you will burst out. The true you is gonna come out, and you're gonna hurt someone else, someone that you care about. You're gonna hurt your environment because you were not acting like you should in the first place. You're acting like someone else. And so you make a relationship, right? Let's say you have a friend. That friend sees you some way, and if you change the way he sees you, and you become someone else, or you are finally getting the true you out of yourself, and you show him that, he's gonna be confused. He's gonna look at you confused. Why? Because you never show him the true you to begin with. You made a friendship that is fake. And when you show yourself the true you, he's gonna be confused. Now, you can harm somebody this way. So if you act like someone else, you're gonna harm other people around you. Jordan Peterson also says that you should never sacrifice what you could be for what you are. This means that we should not be arrogant, and we should not reject lessons that life or someone else could teach us. Because you're not only what you know, and you should never give up the better for the security that you have. So actually paying attention and not being arrogant and being humble and learning from experiences, it takes a lot, because we can change, right? Our personality can change when we start listening or start learning from experiences. We can change. So this is scary. We can change. But Jordan Peterson says that discomfort means nothing, that we should go beyond ourselves and learn that we could be better in the future. When you lie, misspeak, and you're untruthful to yourself, you can feel it inside of your mind. You feel weak, and you actually start feeling like you're sinking. So, coming back to what I said, you feel shame when you lie. And you're being untruthful to yourself. So, especially don't lie to yourself. Now, when you're achieving goals, it's extremely important that you don't lie to yourself. Why? So, imagine that you're doing pull-ups, right? And you have a belt and you have weight on that belt. You have one weight. That one weight is your goal. It's hard to pull up, right? When you have that weight. But imagine that you add an extra weight to your workout. It's gonna be harder to pull up, right? And when we lie to ourselves while trying to achieve a goal, we add another weight to that pull-up. So this is why you shouldn't lie to yourself when you're trying to achieve a goal, especially when you're trying to achieve a goal. You should not act like someone else, because you know what? You're gonna add another weight to that workout. Now, rule 9th by Jordan Peterson is to assume that the person you're listening to might know something that you don't. So Jordan Peterson writes down that if you listen carefully to other people, it is likely that you'll find out things about them. For example, they might tell you their problems and how they will try to fix it. And this might help you fix something about yourself. Listening is paying attention. So this rule is everything about listening. So most people don't even have this skill. And this is probably why you fail to create an interesting conversation. Because answer this question. Every time you talk to someone, do you listen or do you try to talk and push your ideas forward? What is it that you do when you talk to someone else? Do you truly listen to what they're saying? Because Jordan Peterson says that if we listen carefully with enough attention, we'll find out things about the person we're speaking to in a conversation. And the conversation will actually not be boring. So imagine that you need to express yourself. Imagine that you need to talk to someone else and that person is not paying attention to you. How would you feel? It will feel like irritating, right? It will feel like why is that person not listening to me? So you don't want to be the person who's only talking about themselves and not listening. Because nobody wants to have a conversation in this matter. Nobody wants to be like not heard. So Jordan Peterson says that if you listen without judgment beforehand, your conversations will not be boring and people will tell you what they're thinking. If your conversation is boring, it's probably because you're not listening. Now, another thing that Jordan Peterson says, this rule, is to separate the wheat from the chaff. When you listen carefully to someone, Jordan says that some of the things they said and they speak are not genuine. Because the person you're speaking to must put the words in the air so you can distinguish the genuine from the false. So when you speak to someone, some of the things they say, it's not the true it's not the it's not the true self. So they speak false words. and you must distinguish the genuine from the false. You should be careful though, because if you dismiss all the words as fake, it is likely that you're unwilling to put in the effort, and the person will never learn what's genuine about them. Now, I hope this video was valuable for you. And remember these 2 rules. Be true to yourself. And assume that the person you're speaking to might know something that you don't.